Is Magret. Good morning. My name is Magret Amulavu. I am based in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm very excited to be on this call this morning, right at the beginning of the first week of the year 2025. And I am very positive that this will be a very impactful year, a year that if we make up our minds to run with it, great and mighty things are going to happen. So this morning, we are going to talk about why do we need to supplement? Because those are questions many people ask us. I'll never forget that when we started the business some years back, we started in 1997. And I remember supplementation was such an odd and strange thing, even just for myself. I remember that our starter pack had the 4 ranges of products. We had the cleaning products, we had the health supplements, we had the skincare. And I remember for me, I was not comfortable with the supplements and the skincare. The skin, I'd seen too many people whose faces and skin color had changed and had had too many challenges. Then, of course, the supplements looked like medicine. We were so used to having things packed in tablets and capsules being medicine. And so our orientation right from our beginning, like for me, actually just thought those were medicine. And so I understood that in my understanding was that people, since the business can be done by people from every profession, then the people who are in the medical field then come and sell supplements, who are in skincare, the dermatologists and what have you come and do the skincare. And so those of us who are ordinary people do the cleaning products. And that's where I was coming from. But down the line, I did come to understand why supplementation needed to be done. And I can tell you it's a big deal. And there is no better time to talk about supplementation like now. We have come of age because some of the things they talked about that would happen, Neolife, the company being a pioneering nutritional company, did predict some years back, almost 50 years back before the challenges started being seen, that we are going to have the chronic diseases. And it was realized that diet and disease are relatives. What you eat or fail to eat will actually determine what you're going to suffer from or not suffer from. So we are saying that our bodies can actually take care of themselves, even including healing, if we would only give it the right nutrients. And so this morning, I want to talk to us on why do we need to supplement. First of all, we just need to look at our current lifestyle. We are such a busy society. People wake up early, they have no time, caught up in traffic. So, like the way we are living now, people, we are living in towns whereby you don't even have a place you can even call a kitchen garden. So you find people are living in apartments, in flats. There is no actually any place that you can farm your own food. And so you realize we are depending on food that we don't know where it's coming from. You go to the market, you don't know how it is done. And now you're depending on somebody else to grow food and use it. So we are not even sure that the food we are buying is the correct food from the growing and it has been preserved. So right there, our lifestyle is a challenge. And then also with the current lifestyle, there's a lot of stress. A lot of stress. We're having too many things to do and the time seems to be so limited. So you find, like I said, you're running from one place to another. And so you actually have no time to eat a proper meal. And then not to mention, even with the current lifestyle, like where we live here in Kenya, I find there's a lot of pollution going on. Cars are not maintained. And like if you travel a little bit in the other parts of the world, the Europe and the Americas, Australia, you're going to find that there's certain standards they maintain of cars. But here, a car will be removing and emitting all the smoke and all the things you don't know what. And you see, you and I cannot stop breathing just because a car is emitting some things you don't understand. And so we are saying that supplementation is now a key thing just based on our lifestyle. So we are not getting even enough time to just sit and eat a proper meal, leave alone prepare a proper meal. And so you find that we are eating what is there. Somebody has said we are an overfed and undernourished society. We eat to just be full. We are not really caring about, is this good nutritional value for me? I just want to get full and go on to the next thing. So lifestyle is already a very, very big challenge. Then the other thing that makes us want to already start thinking of supplementing is our depleted soils. Some years back, I remember the modern farming ways and technologies have brought a lot of challenges. And what is happening is that many people are now growing food for commercial use and not for domestic. And so as a result of that, people are not even checking whether the soil has got all the nutrients it needs. And so you realize that if you eat a an item that is grown in soil that is depleted, it's already lacking. So by the time it even gets to your body, it's already lacking. So the soil is very depleted, because before there used to be like crop rotation. Those of us who did a bit of agriculture in our earlier years, they used to say crop rotation. So if today you grew potatoes in this farm, the next time you grew something different, so that the nutrient utilization or whatever is taken from the soil at least is not the same thing. You come here, like in our nation, I must say here is where I know a lot. You find that people grow maize from the beginning of the years. 10 years, somebody has been growing maize in the same piece of land year after year after year. And so the same nutrients that the maize needs is what it takes. And so you find with time that soil cannot give you all the nutrients that are needed to grow that food. So we are already having deficiencies just right from the consumption of food that we are eating from depleted soils. And then, of course, when they're depleted, they're adding artificial things, artificial fertilizers, and just the way they are growing food, pesticides. And so we don't actually know what are we really eating. Because if, let's say, there are some crops, if the pesticides that are put in it, you're actually going to end up eating them, because whatever a crop has from the soil is what you're going to eat. And the other thing, when I even remember of just how food is grown, there is one very big anti-weed product that has brought a lot of issues in the world. It's called Roundup. And one of the things about that anti-weed product is that though it is sprayed in the soil to try and stop weeds from coming on, it actually does more harm than good, because they say for the next 30 years, it's going to be on that soil. And remember, it is a chemical thing. That means that for the next 30 years, anybody eating food from that particular place is actually going to get a challenge with that particular thing, that particular chemical. So you can imagine what that means, that body will definitely have challenges. So soil, another thing. Then we do come to what we call farm to table. And there is a very good video that Neolife has done. I love that video. It's called Farm to Table, just the processes that take place from when an item is harvested to when it gets to your table. And you're going to realize that what is harvested and what you end up eating are not the same thing. It's like if I took somebody who's living in the village and they pluck off an orange from a tree and they're just eating it from right there. It's very different from you and I who are in the city, because when they first of all pluck it out, they pluck out the crop, let's say even fruits. Then it first of all goes into storage. We don't know for how long it is stored before it even starts coming to us. Then from storage, it starts being transported. And then it's transported, it comes again into a shop, again stored. And then some of us will even go and store it again in a freezer and then take it. So we are saying that the nutritional value of that thing is already depleted. It doesn't have the content, that nutrition that it got right from when it got plucked. It is not the same. The potential or the nutrients that would have been there are totally depleted. In fact, I can tell you for sure, like especially oranges, it's like the moment they are off the tree, it's like they already start losing their nutritional value. And so by the time you get it, you're actually eating an orange, the name, and not orange in the sense that of what it will actually give you, because of all those processes we call from farm to table. So when you get time, kindly watch that video. It's an amazing one, very short, very nice. And it is good for you to distribute it to your clients who are asking, why do I need to supplement? Because then it explains a lot of those things that are happening. Then we go on to the cooking process. You know, in the olden days, when I even think of just the items that we use for cooking, we've got aluminum, we've got things that most of us are not very careful about the cooking pans we use. We just want something we can cook. And many of us are using what we call aluminum because it is cheaper. And so as a result of that, some of these, we call them sufurias here. And so as you cook, there are some things that are chipping off that aluminum. And so imagine you're eating some metal with the food that you're eating. Because even when we boil things, boil water, boil food, because most of us will heat the food, we either boil, we are going to fry the food. There are not many people who steam food or eat it in its raw form. And then most of us cook food until it is totally too soft, especially the vegetables. When the vegetables are cooked and they have no crispy feeling, crispy, you can feel how it is in your mouth. It is actually of no value. I remember here a time whereby people are boiling green vegetables, and then after they boil, they pour out all the water because they're saying this green thing is not good. Then they're eating just the color. And I'm telling you, they have already lost it. Just the fact that they boiled and poured out the color, it's called the chlorophyll, the green, because that green color is actually the nutrition. That is what will help your body to fight some certain things in your system. And so just by that boiling and pouring out the chlorophyll, you're already destroyed. So you find that even the vegetables we are eating are not even up to the level they ought to be, because we have overcooked, we have overheated them. And then, of course, like I talked about the pans, if you look at the olden days, they had the pot, the earthen pot that was made from the earth, and it was very, very different. Apparently for me today, I still use the pot. It looks very ancient, but I'm very comfortable because I do understand that what I'm getting by cooking with that particular pot is different. Of course, you have to be careful, and I know the challenge is usually if you hold it badly and it falls off, it's like you need very, very many pots. But then again, even as we go on, you're going to find people who sell items, they call them non-stick, meaning that you can actually cook food there without even any oil, and it will not stick on the surface of the pan. Because the challenge is usually that we want, for the ones that we use, then we have to put in a lot of cooking oil so that it doesn't stick on the surface. And so you also need to look at the items you're using for cooking, the cookware. It has advanced, and they are very good pots and pans now for cooking food, if you're really careful with your health, that you just don't want to cook for the sake of saying you have cooked and eating. So that's another thing, how we are cooking food and preparing it. By the time it gets to us, it has already done other things. And I don't know if you realize that in the process of cooking food, there's also oxygen getting in. And in as much as oxygen is good, because like you and I, we cannot do without oxygen. We've got to breathe it. That's what we need for our whole system. But that oxygen also does something we call oxidation, where if you take like something like a banana or avocado, when you cut it and you realize if you expose it to the air, it starts changing color and getting to black. That's what we call oxidation, that there is an effect of the oxygen on that particular fruit or product. And so we are saying, even as we cook, because of course, it's in the open, that oxygen getting into the food is already oxidizing the food, and that is already a challenge. For example, we talk about if oxidation takes place like of cholesterol in our veins, that cholesterol then sticks to the veins and blood is not able to move well. So you can see that oxidation is a big challenge. So already by that cooking, we are already having other issues that are coming in. And then, of course, even the water that we drink. Many people, like I talked about, they would boil water in a sufuria, and this sufuria changes color, and people are just thinking it's a color change because the water has boiled. It's not just a color change. You're actually having that aluminium getting off, and aluminium tends to settle in the brain. The one thing I've been asking myself is that things like stroke were a thing that used to happen to people in the city. But now you realize those things have moved up country. And one of the reasons when I observe around is to look at people who are putting aluminium iron sheets on the roof. And so they use the aluminium iron sheets to collect the water that will be used. So already when the rain hits that aluminium iron sheet, it's already depleting. Then you now heat it again with an aluminium sufuria, and then you take it or cook with it. So you can imagine how much metal is going on into a system. So it is now no longer the thing of where you live. It's whether you live in the city or up country, you're actually having the same challenges, because the up country people are trying to also be modern by doing what people in the city are doing, not realizing it has got a counter effect on them. So you can already see that is already a problem. Then we've got certain medical conditions. People with certain medical conditions then will need certain nutrients, or in percentages that are a little bit higher. Like people who are going through treatment. One of the things that has happened in our country of late, and I think it's happening across Africa, is the issue of cancer. Cancer seems to just have come on in just a way that you cannot even begin to imagine. And so somebody who's got cancer, their blood levels are already low, their immunity is low. And you see, in as much as food can give you those things, just the idea of how much the body can absorb, we call it bioavailability. When you eat something, how much of it gets into your system. So you find because of certain medical conditions, food is not even able to absorb. Your cells are not able to absorb well because they are already sick. And so they need help to be able to just absorb what is coming in. And so you can imagine if somebody's unwell, and maybe they're on medication and they're not even able to eat. And there these medications say that you must eat and then take. So you can imagine if you don't have a food base, you're already having a challenge. So we are saying some medical conditions will just force you to have to supplement, so that at least even if you're on good medicine, it can work on you and it can allow the cells to open up and at least start absorbing what it is that you're taking in. And then also certain conditions, like when people are pregnant and breastfeeding. You know, when you're pregnant, I know people say don't eat for 2, but you're already 2. I can tell you that you need to be very careful what you're eating, because there's something we call the first 1,000 days of a child's life. Actually, your first 1,000 days of your life determine whether what you're going to suffer from or what your body can prevent itself from. And we call 1,000 the 9 months that a mother is pregnant, then year 1, year 2. The things you give that child when you're expectant, what you take, and then what you give that child in year 1 and 2 can actually determine what they're going to suffer from or the kind of bodies they're going to have. So you can imagine that when most of us are pregnant and breastfeeding, we just eat, like I said, we just eat to be full. I never forget having worked in the bank and I had no time to eat. In fact, I just say it's by God's grace that our oldest son is not unwell. But we had a lot of issues when he was younger because I did all the wrong things. I remember eating chips from Monday to Friday and taking it along with a soft drink. I don't even know what the heck I was doing, but I didn't understand nutrition. You see, I was too busy and I just thought as long as I'm full, the child is okay, and it's not okay. So there are certain conditions when you're pregnant, you actually have to supplement. And I must say, like when you're pregnant, most ladies do not realize that calcium is such a key product that you must supplement. And I think I want to talk about it right here because I've seen a lot of people, especially ladies with issues of calcium, because you see, when you get pregnant, that whole bone formation of the child will come from you. So woe unto you if you don't supplement. And you find women getting issues with their back. The moment they give birth, they've got issues with their teeth. In fact, most pregnant women have got rotten teeth and they're thinking, do I go for a procedure or what? Actually, the issue is calcium, that you're not taking enough calcium. And so that child has gone with everything that you have, because you see, you're the one who can take something from an external source. That child, if there, can only take what you have. And so if you're not taking anything, then that child has to use whatever you have. And so you find a lot of ladies having a lot of bone issues and teeth. And worse, it is like when they're giving birth, many people bleed until they die. It's because the blood is not able to hold together. We call it coagulation. So you can see right there, even if without going so much further, without calcium, a woman will not survive when you're actually pregnant. Although women need to supplement with calcium right from 9 years and all the way on, because our bone density tends to decrease as we move on. So you can see that certain conditions will actually require you to supplement. Then when we talk to people who are in sports, not just sports of you and I who exercise 2-3 times a week, but there are people in active sports, competition, people who their bodies, sports is their life. You know, the ways a footballer, that's their life. The same way a lawyer goes to the office, a footballer has to be on the field every day. Somebody who swims has to be in the water. These people do outdoor activities. So, and you can imagine their body. So during preparation, when they're doing the exercises to prepare their bodies for the events, they need certain supplements. During the events themselves, the demand is higher. They need more supplementation. And then when actually after the event, when they're coming down after the event, many people get sores. And you find many people who are athletic have actually joint issues because they didn't take enough to take care of themselves. And so you find that during preparation, during the performance, and even after, they do need to supplement so that the recovery is good. Because you can imagine somebody whose main job is now like football. So they have to play football through the year. And it means if their body has not recovered from the last game, they can't go on to the next one. And if they're being paid according to the number of games they play, that's already compromised. So certain things that people are doing will need supplementation. Then we also talk of people who are aging. You know, as we age, the absorption gets less and less. And that's why you find that old people, their nutrition needs are almost like the younger people, are almost like a child, you know, because their nutritional needs are the same. They're eating less, and the food they're eating most of the time, they're not able to absorb because their body is aging. So even with aging, you find that as you age, you need certain nutrients so that your body can be able to hold up. Otherwise, you're not able to do a lot of things. So we can say for sure that without a doubt that nutrition supplementation is a must. It is now not a thing you do because nobody else is doing it. It's actually become a must because, like I said, there are so many things that are going on. And when you just look, you can actually be able to tell. And then also, I must say that there are certain times you require more supplementation. Like even people, there are people who are actually not able to sleep. They just have a problem because of this lifestyle. They're too stressed, they've got too much, and they're not resting well. So you can see if you're not sleeping well, certain parts of your body are not going to function well, and especially the brain. There is just a level at which the brain must rest so that it can be able to give you the right decisions. And I remember, like, many accidents here take place at night because a guy has not slept the whole day. He was on night shift, didn't sleep the whole day, and then he's on the road again. And so your judgment of the road is not good. You cannot tell how far is an oncoming car. You can't tell whether to overtake. Some people are even just getting off the road on the lane they are on, just because the brain is too tired and has not rested enough. So there are people who need help with some herbal products that can help them to just rest enough. One of them being called Herbal Rest and Relax, very, very key, that it will help your system to relax. And one of the things for me, Herbal Rest and Relax helped me, and I can talk about it during a very, very stressful time in our lives. When we lost our second child and I just stopped working, for me, that was a very stressful time. And I remember this product, Herbal Rest and Relax, and how it helped me with stress. I realized Herbal Rest and Relax sieves thoughts. Not that it sieves and makes you not think, but it brings just one thought at a time. Because one of the things and the challenge of stress is that too many thoughts crowd your mind. So you have not even finished with one thought, another one is already coming, and another one. It's like bullets being shot into your mind, and your brain is just running like a rat race, you know? But Herbal Rest and Relax just brings one thought at a time. And it's like when that thought is over, another one drops in. When that one is over, another one drops in. And I found just that product amazing because it relaxes your brain. And when you go to bed, you sleep. You know, in Kenya, there is a Swahili word we use, and even the Tanzanians, and I know there are Ugandans who speak Swahili. People go to bed and they say natafuta usingizi. If I translated it, it's like I'm looking for sleep. There are people who can toss and turn 15, 20 minutes, even half an hour, and they're just not able to sleep. You know, when we do supplementation, like I can say for me, I actually sleep because I look at the watch. My system cannot tell me to go and sleep. You know, most people say, I'm going to sleep, I'm feeling sleepy. I don't get that thing of feeling sleepy. I actually look at the time and I say, okay, my sleeping time is 10, then I just go to bed and close my eyes. And if I just close my eyes, in 5 minutes, you can't actually be able to call me because my system is tuned to the level that it is actually able to tell that it's time to sleep and it's time to wake up. So you can imagine the people who don't have that kind of even a cycle, a sleep pattern. They don't know when they wake up, they don't know when they sleep. And you see, that can really disrupt your life because then you cannot even plan and be able to do anything. So you can see right there that supplementation is something that we need. And then there are also nutrients that are needed. Some nutrients are not gotten very easily. There are nutrients like iron, calcium, and zinc. Iron, calcium, zinc. They are needed in small percentages, but if your body does not have them, then you get compromised issues. So for example, iron, if you don't have enough of it, you get brittle nails, you're going to get anemic, and anemia is bad. Anemia means that the red blood cells are not producing enough blood. And that means that you're not having enough blood to circulate in the whole body. So you become anemic and your blood levels are low. And that's a real big challenge. Because if you've got low blood levels, it could actually interfere with your heart. I remember a very unfortunate thing, a client who didn't want to supplement and they were having issues. And as a result of that, their blood level went low to as low as 4. And they actually passed on because of a heart condition, not because now it was the blood, because there was too little blood. And so the heart was overworking to try and pump this little blood into the whole system. So you can see there are some nutrients that you need in small percentages, but if they are not there, then your body cannot be able to function well. And so we need those supplements because the body needs them in different times and different dimensions. And of course, the body needs vitamins and minerals, protein, carbohydrates. Those are things that we were learning in school, but I remember that we used to say that in school, maybe we were learning them for the sake of it, but I know in this day and era, we are not just learning them for the sake of it because they're going to play a big role. So I can say that what you eat or fail to eat will actually determine how far you go. There's some nutritionists like, I remember the Neolife Shake, and I thank Dr. Eseza for her bringing it right out about the Neolife Shake. Many of us distributors would say that product is too expensive. How do you pay about $100 just to be able to get that one item? You know, $100 sounds 100 in the US, but when we convert it to our currencies, it comes to a lot of money. And one of the things I remember because of her and just understanding what the Neolife Shake does, it is a great product. And one of the things I came to realize, of course, through her training and Charlie Bolton's training, is that there is a brain level that your brain should be. They call it level 70, the same way they measure your pressure or your BMI or your sugar levels. They say the brain needs to be at level 70. So if your brain is at level 70, you are motivated, you're outgoing, you're excited, you're enthusiastic. If it's below level 70, you're depressed. You don't want to face tomorrow. If it is above level 70, you're going crazy. So can you imagine something like Neolife Shake? Maybe some of our children are not performing, or some of us are not doing what we ought to do because the brain is not at the level it should be at. And you see, just when I talk of Neolife Shake, getting the 22 amino acids is almost impossible because they say you have to eat a cow with its hoofs and its horns, everything, which is actually not possible to be able to eat those quantities. So when you just think of what Neolife Shake can do for you, don't you think you'd rather take that supplement? And if you're on this call and thinking that supplements is for other people, I want to tell you it is first of all for you. Because if you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot take care of somebody else. And you see, naturally, we are selfish people in a good way, because even when the Lord says love others as you love yourself, you see it starts with yourself. So if you're not doing things for yourself, you cannot be able to do the same for others. So I would encourage you that if you're a distributor on this call and you're thinking that those supplements are there because people sell and make money, first of all, use them for yourself because you're gonna be different. And you find that you've got very good energy levels, your concentration and alertness is good. And for me, I've realized over the years, because I've taken supplements for about 28 years now, I am not on even one tablet. I eat, sleep, supplement, exercise. That's my nature of work. And you can imagine how simple that is. And it is amazing that the older you get, the more energy you have. In fact, another time I was doing a race with Angela, who happens to be 35 years younger than I, because I got her at 35. And imagine I can outcompete her in swimming and I can compete her in running at my age. And I'm thinking it must be these supplements, not thinking, I know it is supplements, because people of this age are not even able to do that, even younger. So supplements make a big deal. They're a key issue. I always tell people that Neolife products give life to your years and years to your life. A more vibrant life, aging gracefully. We are not saying you won't age, but can you at least age gracefully? There are people whose age, their aging is faster than how their bodies ought to. So we are saying age at the right pace, and you find you can be able to do a lot more, because as long as you're breathing, we're expecting you to do something and give us value for the fact that you're alive. Just because you are old, aging, does not mean that now you have nothing to give us. I had an opportunity when we went to Tanzania to see one of my cousins. I went to Tanzania a week earlier, and I spent a time with this cousin of mine who was a football coach in Tanzania for very long, in a town called Morogoro. And this cousin of mine at about 75, he's still very active. And now he was telling me now he needs to retire. And I said, John, as long as you're still eating and need clothes, you cannot talk of retirement, because you're still up to the game because of his exercise and long time of being in the field. He still looks so good. He actually looks like he's about 60. So I was able to encourage him to continue doing things, because when you stop doing things is when your body also gives way. We say what you don't use, you lose. So I was able to encourage him and to start getting him onto supplements. And I know that his life from now on will be better. So I would encourage us, let's out there and train and equip people. The other final thing I want to say, of course, you need to look at the supplements that you're using. There are organic supplements, like what we have, food-based supplements, and then there are the ones that are generic. Generic means they're lab-made, and anything generic or chemically done, your body knows and cannot identify and use it. And many doctors are not for supplementation, because most of them know only the generic, the generic ones, which apparently, when they synthetic, not generic, synthetic, when they go into the body, they affect the liver and the kidney. And so many doctors are uncomfortable. And then they don't go through all the steps of digestion. So you need to use our products that are GMO free, they're well researched, and they've got things that other products do not have. So take some time and just get to understand these products and how they work. And in the interest of time, I'm going to stop there and just say a word of prayer. And then I'm sure that what we've gotten, we can be able to go out there and be able to use it. So let me just say a word of prayer as we finish. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this morning. Thank you for what you've taught us.